This video is going to be filled with red flags.
Trevor Jacob, very controversial name.
He experiences what looks to be an engine failure.
He's immediately pulling on the yoke.
The door is a little bit open.
It's just a little fishy.
He just opens the door and jumps out. Here we go, without ever having done anything to try to save the airplane.
This is a huge landing surface.
The hazard that he's creating by jumping out of the airplane and just letting it fly is ridiculous.
This is a very fake video, pretty sure.
Trevor, come on, dude.
Did you have any hesitation about posting the video?
Definitely. And I didn't really know what was going to happen. As soon as that hit the internet, things changed a little bit.
The FAA said he intentionally crashed that plane in his viral video.
If Trevor Jacob is guilty of crashing an airplane for views, I expect him to be put away for life. Come on!
I was really actually scared for my life hiking out of there, and it was a real life situation.
Did you crash the plane on purpose?
Come here, you big chunk. Come here. Big old tank. Go on, door-to-door service. I joined YouTube on November 10th, 2008. I would put out death-defying, super risky stunts that I would do. I started to realize that people in action sports, like certain people, took it super serious, and it was like, I have to do this certain way. I can go create something that is solely up to me of how it gets created. From, I'm gonna go grab my camera and I'm just gonna go film it. I just enjoy sharing content, so it's cool that more people are catching on, but if one person was watching my video or millions are watching my video, I would still be putting out the same thing. When I got my pilot's license, I just decided why not film some of the flights. The title of this video is I Crashed My Plane, and it has just over 2.5 million views with, I think, 120,000 dislikes and 20,000 likes. I think people love that one. As a kid, I was such a punk. I was a know-it-all.
You should let us ride a little bit more.
Well, you know what? You should tell me now. You shouldn't tell me what to do.
I just grew up outside, having fun with my friends. For some reason, we always had a camera to film the adventures, and we'd all come back to somebody's house at the end of the day and watch what we did and kind of relive the day. As soon as I heard about YouTube, it just kind of made sense for a place to post those. The first video I posted, we're gonna go scare some people, was this train horn prank.
Jesus!
Driving around just honking this horn. This was so long ago too, 2013. That guy was all, fuck you, asshole.
Everybody get down on the ground right now.
Basically, it's totally fake, obviously. Like, I had my friend dressed up as a cop. I didn't expect this to get 7 million views. I thought it'd be funny to just kind of make a skit. That's just what I enjoy doing. I would say people know me most as an Olympic snowboarder, which is kind of funny because I don't really do anything like that, or I haven't in a long time. I turned pro and started getting paid to snowboard at 13 years old.
Trevor Jacob, youngest rider to ever make the finals at a US Open.
I saw Trevor riding, was like, whoa. First thought was, that's not really a kid. Like, he kind of rode like an older dude, even though he was probably 12. At that point, I was still a professional snowboarder, so I was just kind of stoked.
I was winning a ton of events and became the next hot thing in snowboarding for a little bit.
I had more opportunities to ride with Trevor. I mean, Trevor's always had an insane work ethic, just kind of go for it attitude, so there was no stopping him. He had the talent, he had the support, and he had the drive.
Trevor Jacob right there.
I went to the Olympics, I was 20.
National championship on the line. Trevor Jacob crosses first.
I was the #1 qualifier for the Olympics from the United States. They said they want to see my face. Is it better with goggles on or off?
I think you're good with goggles on if it's making you squint.
All right. Nope. Oh, you got that one.
When we first met, we both knew of each other. I knew he was this up-and-coming shredder, getting it done. I started working here for Mammoth Mountain as the brand videographer. You were a Mammoth Mountain athlete, so I got to work with him on the video side of things.
I met you and different people, and I'm like, oh, there's this different side of snowboarding where you can just go out in the backcountry and like have fun with your friends and film. Some things that like may or may not be illegal, not like causing anybody a harm, but like things that the average person probably wouldn't do.
Victimless crimes.
Yeah.
We're all about victimless crimes.
Yeah, jumping trains, running from the cops. That was actually really scary. Like, I actually almost died doing that.
And yeah, one time he dropped in.
The whole lip gave out.
Basically did like a reverse flailing backwards dive over a moving train.
Like, that was one of the first times I had seen my life flash before my eyes. Right around the time I met you, I was like so focused on having to be an Olympian and I'm gonna be the next thing in snowboard competition. It's a hard path to be able to continue on. People are standing on top of the podium, people have a bunch of money coming in from sponsors, and then one day that's gonna end. And if they don't see that coming, we both have mutual friends that have killed themselves over injuries that where their career is coming to an end and they didn't know how to handle it.
Some of them are left with nothing. Maybe there's some head injuries over the years that kind of add to the mental aspect of it. Some of them don't have any other skills. Trevor is just talented at everything and I can make something out of nothing at any given time.
I don't know about that.
There's some people that they will kill themselves not by suicide, but they'll turn to drugs or alcohol or whatever because it's such an emotional roller coaster.
The majority of my friends that were partaking in action sports didn't understand why they were feeling like shit, why they were turning to drugs, why they were depressed. And I wanted to know, because I was feeling that hardcore, losing friends, broken bones, like, why do I feel like this? Why do I want to kill myself? I'm smart enough to know that like it's a dopamine addiction that's driving me or adrenaline driving me to do that.
That might have just been a death wish.
Trevor has a whole new, I don't know what you want to call it, scandal.
That was a wild video. That was a wild video. We've chosen not to discuss it very much since he is being investigated by the feds. So yeah, watch the video. It's entertaining.
Welcome to my airplane hangar. This is kind of my creative space. This is a milestone of 100,000 subscribers and I got this in the mail. A lot of people have changed their opinions on me based on me clicking the publish button on a video. And I'm not just talking about internet people, I'm talking about real friends in my life that have decided to no longer associate with me because of one video that was put out online. Ow. So this is the room that I grew up in. Maybe 12 years old to like 18. I think my mom was all proud and got this framed when I was little, but yeah, I made the local newspaper. I was 15 in this photo. I'm basically grabbing the chairlift as I'm grinding the wall. I'm not kidding you, to get the shot, I probably hit this wall like no less than 200 times that day. That was like the beginning of it. Yeah, I don't know, the beginning of the end. This is like a bobblehead helmet I chose to wear in the Olympics because I thought it was funny. I had probably 25 concussions over like a 4-year period. And border cross, which I did in the Olympics, is pretty dangerous. And I just remember thinking like, if I hit my head again, like it might be game over. This has more protection than a normal snowboard helmet, so I chose to wear that. But
Sorry, is
yeah.
25 concussions, or is that hyperbole, or are you saying that you potentially did have 25 concussions?
To be completely honest with you, I've had a lot more than that. Just guessing from, I started hitting my head when I was 8 years old, you know? Probably when I was 18 years old. I mean, it's happened a couple times, but I would be sitting here talking to you and immediately just forget what I was saying. You know, just like completely gone.
Trevor was kind of that almost chosen kid. Like he had all the skill set to do almost whatever he wanted to with the sport. He kind of quit almost out of nowhere.
There was a part in my life, probably around 16 or 17, where I quit snowboarding and I was just over all the pressure. Being involved in action sports, especially snowboarding competitively at a young age, there's a lot of money and a lot of pressure. Like you have to win this event and you're like 13. When you grow up, you see the big picture of the world and you question like, how important is that really? All of that suffering. And I guess being in here makes me look back on it and like, yeah. It's something I feel like I abandoned. Like I didn't even realize I'd get emotional about it, but it just brings back memories of like all the kids, you know, like all my friends, just like nothing matters. Like just grateful to be a little kid running around a ski resort, like causing trouble. And then you kind of grow up and get older and you realize like, oh, like life's not really like that forever. You know, some of these people that I've shared a lot of these experiences with aren't alive anymore, you know? And like, that's like something that's, yeah, pretty difficult, but that's life. This is a photo of my best friend growing up, Johnny Strange. This is him wingsuiting in Switzerland. He died in 2015. Johnny is dropping me off at the train station. I'm going train hopping. He's going to Europe to go wingsuiting. And this is a quote by him. I know some people think what I do is irresponsible because of the risk, but the day I let my fear deter my ability to follow my dreams, I have already died. I will, as well as everyone else, die someday, but on this day, I was more alive than I'd ever been before. Johnny Strange, 1991 to 2015. That's definitely something that's like, you know, pretty inspiring and like I haven't forgot about. And I always try to remember that because we shared a lot of good times together.
I'll see you in hell, Johnny!
I know he's out there watching.
I've seen a lot of pros come and go. And a lot of pros end up getting really bitter and they're over the sport because it chewed them up and spit them out. And it's hard. It's very similar to the feeling that you get from a drug. You have this rush of adrenaline and then everybody's hugging you and congratulating you and you're doing the best thing ever. So the second you pull the cord from that, it's hard to find something else.
Yeah, I think I've read every single one of these, but this is called Addiction by Design. I was fascinated by her psychological point of view, mostly because she's talking about dopamine hits. How our neural pathways connect dopamine to certain things that release that dopamine. I figured out that I can read as many books as I want and whoever I am is still gonna win at the end of the day. Living a life like the one I've choose to live is absolutely harmful to relationships. It's created a lot of tension in my life. But I mean, at what point are you gonna live a life of your dreams and what point are you gonna play it safe just to make it to 100 years old and die? You know, like once you were born, it got risky. We are hiking up the mountain to go paragliding. It's a bit windy. The winds can get extremely terrifying in the mountains. I've had wing collapses and stuff where you're just super high up and all of a sudden the entire paraglider just folds underneath itself and I'm literally just crying in the air, so scared, like, just get down, like, please just get me down. All your friends are dead, like, why would you keep doing that? Why would you keep living this lifestyle? Somewhere along the way of depression and being suicidal and just like broken bones and laid up on the couch, just feeling like a hopeless mess, like, if that means injury or death, so be it. Like, that's the way I want to live my life. A few months back, I spread some of Johnny's ashes just off this mountain right here. And this is actually his old base jumping stash bag. You're along for the ride with us, Johnny. He would go on trips, he'd always text me like, all right, man, if this is the one, like, keep charging hard. Don't ever stop being you. Up here on the top of the mountain, the wind just calmed down, so we're getting ready to take off. When you actually accept death, I feel like that's when you start living. And I've watched death happen. I've accepted it. I don't want to die, but I'm willing to die living the life that I want to live. Woo! Woo, it's shaky. Oh boy. Certain action sports are definitely the most selfish thing that you can partake in.
Oh, I got shaky there for a second. That was a little scary.
An adrenaline addict is super selfish because he's chasing this feeling, but if things go wrong, it's everybody else around you that is affected by it.
How is this a thing?
I think I like to have fun. I've always loved laughing and smiling, and I would say as I get older, my way of having fun and laughing has kind of taken on a different form. I'll have laugh attacks just by myself because, I don't know, I'm a mischievous one for sure.
The FAA said he intentionally crashed that plane in his viral video. Reeve has more.
It might make me a psychopath in a weird way, but all the like turmoil, I've Probably never laughed harder in my life. I got my best friend, Johnny Strange's ashes with me. We are going to go paraglide off of one of his favorite mountains up in the Sierra Nevadas and spread some of those. I was hesitant to post the video because I knew that there was going to be a lot of different people thinking a lot of different things. But I figured, you know, hey, I went and I experienced this and it happened.
Holy I'm over the mountains and I get out an Asian out.
You know, it just so happened to be on film, so I may as well share it with the world. And as soon as that hit the internet, things changed a little bit.
Let's have a look at what we can see here.
Quote, he always flies with a parachute and he thinks that everyone should always fly with a parachute.
And I don't recall him ever wearing a parachute in other videos.
The fuel selector valve is seen dangling in the cockpit.
The door is a little bit open.
It's a little suspect that he's immediately pulling on the yoke, trying to get it slow.
What would have been really interesting to see here is that camera behind him.
He just opens the door and jumps out. Here we go, without ever having done anything to try to save the airplane.
That looks like a totally landable spot.
This is a huge landing surface right here. I don't think he even realized when he posted this that he just kind of gave himself away.
Trevor is seen wearing a fire extinguisher. Trevor is seen wearing a skydiving altimeter.
He staged it, or he just had really poor training.
This is a very fake video, pretty sure.
The hazard that he's creating by jumping out of the airplane and just letting it fly is ridiculous.
He crashed his aircraft in a national park. There might be forest fires.
What about all the people hiking? What about all the animals?
It's a condor reserve.
I expect him to be put away for life.
This is a perfect example of something stupid that could lead to more regulations that are going to overly burden the rest of us.
In the past, the FAA has sent cases to the FBI similar to this.
The FAA came out with a statement that they did an investigation and you crashed your plane for video views. You have a statement about that.
Yeah, I mean, during their investigation, they took out certain facts from the video and then ultimately made a decision on whether they thought that it was intentional or not. I don't really have anything to say other than that's what they came up with and that's their opinion, and everyone has an opinion. I have my opinion. I was the only one that experienced that situation. I was really actually scared for my life hiking out of there, and it was a real life situation.
Well, where the hell am I gonna land a freaking plane? I'm gonna die. That's why I always freaking fly with a parachute.
Whether I completely did that on purpose or whether it was the scariest, most terrifying accident that was completely not intentional, the world may never know.
Did you crash the plane on purpose?
I can't answer that.
Trevor came from a long history of snowboarders, skaters, surfers that didn't give a fuck, you know? I look now at his persona, what he's putting out there on social media, and it's tough. Like for me, it looks like he is struggling. It looks like he is having a hard time figuring out what his best place is and what his role is in all of this.
Look at this. 10 commandments of flying, but they added an 11th one. Thou shalt not crash airplane for YouTube views. Someone just tagged me in that. It looks like a girl hand. Oh yeah, she's kind of hot. I'm gonna ask her if she wants to collaborate on a video. People were pretty bummed out and got the wrong perception really of my intentions of taking Johnny with me.
I got my best friend, Johnny.
That's interesting to transport your friend in a sandwich bag.
If I ever die and get cremated, please don't put me in a fucking Glad freezer bag.
Then he pulls out his wallet and starts doing a commercial for the Ridge wallet.
Thank you to the Ridge wallet.
No disrespect to Johnny, just to Trevor.
All I'll say about it is that Johnny Strange legacy continued on because Johnny was being mentioned in every single one of those news articles that were created over this thing.
One thing that I've noticed about Trevor since he was a kid is he's very caring, and he has always wanted to take care of his friends. If I put a GoPro on my head and go film something, am I gonna ride the same way that I did, knowing that I wanna try and impress people? Probably not, and that's gross, it sucks. But it's the form of media that we're using to get paid.
If people are choosing to watch my life, like I want to give them something to be entertained by. You have to separate doing something for the attention and the views. All of a sudden, you're risking your life to do some cool trick and then people resonate with it and they're getting all those likes and they're getting all those views. That's a really dangerous place to be in. I've watched people die because of that. and they might be in denial of it. And hell, even myself right now could be in denial of it.
Does this work? Dude, I'm protecting your future, man.
Perfect. My pilot's license has been revoked for 10 months before I can do another check ride and hopefully get my license back. My friend who's remaining anonymous here is the pilot in command. I want to respect his privacy. I know there's a lot of people that aren't very happy in the aviation community with me, and the last thing I want to do is have real friends get involved in that. There's a ton of legalities happening. I'm being watched by the FBI. Like, there's different things that absolutely take its toll